Okay, what exactly is going on with gold and silver in the month of August? Now, I think I need to lay out some macro context here because if you take a look at the day to day fluctuations of both metals, you might get kind of confused. One day the prices are up, and the next day the prices are down. And a lot of the days you see graphs that look like this, where they're just extremely choppy. So I think we need to actually take a pause, zoom out a little bit, and see exactly what is happening in the macro landscape that's impacting prices. Now, obviously, over the last few days, we've been seeing gold performing a little bit better than silver, and there's a reason for that. But let's take a look at a very simple graph of both metals over the last week, and you will see exactly what the economic consensus is at the moment. Gold generally represents risk off, safe haven behavior. Silver, on the other hand, especially more and more now, represents a lot more risk on behavior. So it has much more of a connection with what's happening in industry. So this is gold right here, right there. And about a week ago, it began pretty low, and then it started to rise over the next few days. And it's been pretty elevated. Yeah, it's been going up and down, but it's been pretty elevated, kind of sideways over the last few days. Hasn't really gone up, hasn't gone down, just kind of sitting at a nice spot. Silver, on the other hand, began just like gold, went up, but then it just started falling. And this is essentially a nice, quick way to get a feel for what's happening right now in the economy. And that is, we are seeing more and more risk off behavior. Now, on my website, goldandsilvertoday.com, definitely check that website out, guys. I wrote a new article that was released today titled 4 Charts Showing Global Economic Weakness. Now, I'm not going to show all 4 charts here, but I want to go down to the very bottom and show you the last chart here, which also is which is also representative of risk on behavior, especially in the global sense, and that is copper prices. Now, here's a graph, pretty much 1 year of copper prices, and as you can see, in the middle or early part of May, we hit a nice strong peak here in copper prices, and a lot of commodities around that time were doing pretty well. And then after that point, prices began to drop. So let's take a look at what I guess I could say what I had to say about this. So China buys roughly 50% of global copper supply. Some analysts use its graph as a read on the economic health of China. This is important given that China is known to be the manufacturer of the world. Now, we're just going to pause right there because if this is a read on China, this is essentially a read on the world. Because if you know about global value chains, then commodities precede manufacturing, manufacturing precedes wholesalers, wholesalers precede retailers, and then retailers sell to us. So that far up in the value chain of manufacturing, if we're seeing weakness there, that implies weakness further down the line, which would hit us eventually, which is what I mentioned later on or right after this in saying the slowdown within the United States will only be made worse by the economic slowdown within China, as they are a key player within our global value chain. Now, I will say over the last couple of years, we've been trying to diversify our value chain, but it still hasn't been significant enough to say that China is not a key player in our global value chain. Let's continue. Much of the decline before this week was caused by China dumping much of its high-priced commodities onto the market and rising Delta variant cases. However, prices have also taken a nosedive from the recent taper talks at the Federal Reserve. All 4 of these graphs show that there are more risk-off times in the near future than risk-on. So I did mention here that the taper talks also brought copper to its knees in recent days as well, similar to that of silver. So what we're essentially seeing here is that there are better times ahead for gold than there are for silver. Now, definitely check out my article here so you can read the other 3 charts, because it really does lay out the context of my thinking and how I'm viewing the near term economically. So guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching. Please hit that like button and check out goldandsilvertoday.com and my latest article there.